everybody. Welcome to today's Heart to Home devotion. And today we're going to talk about pride. The Bible has a lot to say about pride and the proud. Like in Proverbs 16:18, pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. And in Proverbs 21:24, a proud and haughty man, scoffer is his name. He acts with arrogant pride. In Psalms 10:4, the wicked in his proud countenance does not seek God. God is in none of his thoughts. Going to go to a little history lesson now about Alexander the Great. In the Bible, it doesn't mention Alexander the Great, but in the prophecies of Daniel and Zechariah, they do talk about a leader from Greece coming and conquering, and then being conquered and divided into 4 different factions. So it does speak about his rise and fall. Alexander became the Great because his influence outlasted his battle victories. He was raised with a sense of destiny. At 20, he inherited the throne of Macedonia from his father. And then he went out and with 35,000 troops, and in 11 years, he conquered every place, all the known world at that time. And he never lost a battle. He got arrogant after a while, though, and his power became intoxicating. And he withdrew from the soldier's life, declared himself the son of Zeus, which is the pagan god of pagan gods, and began drinking heavily. He was in Babylon with his army in 323 BC, preparing for his next campaign, and he got into a drinking contest. And it's estimated that he drank, let me get this right, because it seemed to be a heck of a lot, at least 6 quarts of wine. So 4 quarts make a gallon, so that's at least a gallon and a half. Oh my goodness. The next day he was sick, caught a cold, but from his bed he continued to issue orders. Within 10 days of that drinking fest, the conqueror was dead, having conquered everything but himself. Alexander had always believed he was a descendant of Achilles, who was considered the greatest warrior in Greece. And this says, if that's true, then Achilles' heels was Alexander's ego. So he couldn't conquer himself. And we have problems with that, with pride and arrogance and conquering humility. We need to be humble. The Bible says we should be humble. And in Romans, it says, for I say, through the grace given to me, Romans 12:3, through the grace given to me, to everyone who is among you, do not think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but think soberly, as God has dealt to each one of us a measure of faith. And so, we might be good at something. We might be not so good at something, but we might just take on a bad attitude and say, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. We need to do what God has called us to do. We need to use the gifts that he's given us. And back to Alexander's downfall, we go to Mark 8:36 and 37. It says, what good is it for a man to gain the whole world, yet forfeit his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? So as we go about our days and our business, and we need to keep a humble attitude, do the things that God has blessed us, the gifts that God has blessed them, use them, but not to brag about them. Proverbs also talks about letting someone else speak highly of you. Let someone else, brag about you. Don't brag about yourself, because God doesn't like a haughty spirit. So let's keep it humble, guys, and we'll see you next time.